family, friends, and folks. It's 9:16 a.m. on December the 18th, 2009. This is my first attempt to do something that I've been asking Bill O'Reilly, Glenn Beck, every elected official that we have that I can reach, to show you this clock and explain it to you. I want to begin with a disclaimer. First of all, I know very little about all of these items on this clock, but I'll do my best to try to explain what I do know or what I can assume from the clocks. I'm waiting for someone who is more intelligent, more knowledgeable, and more capable to present this information to you. But being unable to get that done by letters to the editor, by emails to the various people that I've mentioned, no one has picked up the challenge, so I'm going to try it, at least for a trial, to see how it comes out. If I had to entitle this something, I would call it "Watch America Bleed to Death." These figures are so important to your personal security and to the future of our nation that we must do everything we can to make every citizen aware, especially every citizen that votes. I feel like that we have been betrayed by our officials at all levels, for no one has ever undertaken the project of doing what I'm trying to do, that I know of. While the information is available to everyone, the importance of it has not been recognized nor used to make us informed or allow us to be intelligent when we vote for somebody. Every person I vote for from now on, I'm going to look at through the lenses of this clock and the significance of what they represent to America. I would like for each candidate or each person in office to identify the specific items on this clock in which they are working to correct or fix or to monitor or manage, to control, or to at least recognize as being a factor in their judgments for every piece of legislation that's made. Not just on the national level, but as far down as city governments and communities. All over America need to be aware of these numbers and how their input, no matter how small, makes a difference in these figures. I'm going to be calling out some of these figures and telling you what I think they mean and what I think what importance they may have. And then at the analysis, when I end that, then I'll tell you what I think we have to work with to do something about it. Let's start off with the very first column up here. The U.S. national debt is probably the most common knowledge figure, and I'll read to you the definition at the top of the page because it's rather small letters. This is the U.S. national debt. The national public debt outstanding represents the face amount or principal amount of marketable and non-marketable securities currently outstanding. That figure is over $12 trillion. Now, if you were to take another figure, which is way over here, the U.S. population, and you can watch that continue to increase as the deaths do not exceed the amount of births, nor does the increase in citizenship. The number of citizens is increasing in the country. And while you are being watched, if you'll check this every so often, you'll see that number go up 1. And that will be the amount of, that's the average number of seconds that it takes for another person to be counted in the U.S. population. Every time one child is born that exceeds the number of people who died, the population increases. And we have people, of course, leaving this country, I guess, for some reason, but we also have other people coming in and being added as immigrants, legal immigrants. Now, out of that figure, and I'm going to digress from the other part of it, but to run this column for you right quick, because these are the fundamental, generally truthful figures, or at least the best ones we have. Out of that figure, then, there are U.S. taxpayers. I'm not quite sure whether that includes my wife and I as a single taxpayer, or the fact that there are two of us. It doesn't say. It's just U.S. citizens who file IRS tax returns with taxable income. That Carolyn and I may be included as as one on this figure, and that's with taxable income. The official unemployed number of people we have out of our 308 million people officially unemployed is 15 million of them. But the actual unemployed, and I don't know why these figures, why the actual would not be the official, but the actual unemployed is 26 million, a difference of 10 million people. I don't know how the officials can be so far off, or the people who are actually unemployed aren't counted in the official unemployed deal. It needs to be explained. Now then, running our country and our local governments, state and local, are 16 million, almost 17 million employees that are employed in state governments across the nation, the 50 states. Now, running our government on a direct basis are 4,200,000 federal, civilian, and military employment. That includes employees in U.S. territories and foreign countries. It excludes the CIA, the NSA, and DIA employees. Now, out of the 308 million people again, we have a workforce of 138,000. We have 138 million. We have 37 million retirees, and almost an equally sized number, 38 million who are on food stamps and are recipients of food stamps, and those food stamps are paid for by the U.S. government. We'll get back to that in a little bit, because I don't quite know where that comes in some of the other figures. But here's the figure that's really interesting. Illegal immigrants. This figure, this number, actually is one of the few that I am at least watching, and it's going down. I think people may be crossing the borders the other way, or else we're sending them back across the borders. But at any rate, we have a whole lot of folks employed to manage this one figure right here, to see that we have less and less illegal immigrants. But there's bad news for a lot of Americans. Bad news: 1.3 million this year to date. Bankruptcy, right here. Bankruptcy is a legally declared inability or impairment of ability of an individual or organization to pay its creditors. That's a pretty high number of people and businesses going under. Again, foreclosures. This is a legal process in which property that is collateral or security for a loan may be sold to help repay the loan when the loan is in default. 804,000 people year to date have lost their homes in foreclosures. If you're one of those people, life is pretty tough and things are pretty bad. Let's go on now. Up here we have the debt, but we also have some other things here that are really interesting. From the national debt, of course, my 60-day-old grandson per citizen, he's counted in this number over here, population. He has a $39,000 debt per citizen against him. When he becomes a taxpayer, if he were a taxpayer today, he would be in debt $111,000. That's because we have something called